I always envy people who've been able to drop what they were doing and go full force with their goals and their dreams, right? For me, little different story, and something that Ed Milet actually reminded me, a great mentor of mine. You know, he said, like, you know, for those who still have that typical 9 to 5 and who are kind of going through this, I like to call spiritual suicide, right? Where they're just like kind of miserable. They're you know, they're not, they feel like they're just they're rotting, right, in their 9 to 5 job. Is that's not, some people would wish to have that. And the reason why is because they have like this career that maybe they're not happy with, but they're able to use that money to fund their business. And some people don't have that. So I always have to remind myself, and for the people listening out there who maybe be in the same situation, right? Maybe you're still in your 9 to 5 and you can't quite just, you know, let it all go yet. You got to remember that, man, there's people who would kill to be in your position because you're making great money still, and you're able to use that money and allocate it and fund your business.
Ejay, you're a husband. You've got a brand new baby on the way. Actually, by the time this airs, you're going to have that baby by now. You're an RN. You're a coach. You're an awesome podcast called the Parables Podcast. You're also part of Arete Syndicate, man. Thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
No, man, I appreciate you, Eric. It's an honor and privilege. You know, again, I'm a fellow podcaster, and I know the time and effort it takes to do something like this, and I know the power it's able to do as well, as far as spreading the message and doing some good things. So again, very honored and privileged, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, I like to go back with my shows, man. Where did you grow up? What was childhood like for you?
Childhood, yeah, man. I mean, so I grew up here in Southern California all my life. And I like to tell people all the time, you know, I don't have like this crazy upbringing story where I was like homeless or, you know, abused or anything like that. I was very fortunate to have, you know, hardworking parents that immigrated from a third world country to Philippines. And, you know, they gave me everything that I needed, right? They wanted to give me everything that they didn't have. And while I was, you know, I guess you could say had it a lot better than other kids, right? The beauty of it is my parents still disciplined me and put in me that mental fortitude of like, hey, even though you have it better than other kids, you still got to work hard, because we're not going to spoon feed you for the rest of your life. This is what real life is. This is what reality is. You got to go out and get it. We can't do it for you. And so I kind of had this yin and yang, or like two different polar opposite parents, right? I had like the loving, comforting mother who was just always there for me. And then I had like this very hard, very disciplined dad. And, you know, it was out of love, of course, right? You know, some people just show their love differently in different forms. And so, you know, between them two, I would say you know, I owed them everything. And, you know, growing up, you know, I was very involved with school. I love to hustle, man. I'm talking like Pokemon cards, Pogs, Bubblicious bubble gum. I used to flip drawings at like book fairs. You know, even out of high school, I did a lot of eBay, did a lot of sneakers on Craigslist, the whole Gary Vee thing. And I don't know, I always found it fascinating of how I could turn something into profit. I don't know what it was, man, but I just found it very, very fascinating. And I guess that's what really got me into like the whole sales part. I eventually got into wholesaling in the auto industry. Obviously got into the car scene, you know, and, you know, eventually down, you know, when my mom, basically, I guess they got really sick and tired of driving me to school, because I was so involved with school, right? Back then, I don't know how it is now, but you were able to get like a permit. So age 15, my mom was like, hey, go get that thing. You know, and then they were like, hey, we're going to get you a car, right? You need your own car, obviously just a used, you know, beat up car, whatever it was. But there's like, hey, if we get you this car, you got to take up nursing. And, you know, I come from a family of nurses. My mom, my two older sisters are all nurses. And, you know, back then I was just like, oh, okay, like, I just want the car. Like, sure, whatever that means. Right. And so, you know, long story short, I like to tell people I got bribed into nursing. But, you know, again, I'm very thankful, because it's given me the life I have now. It's molded me to who I am. Obviously, 10 years in the game. I've seen a lot of changes in regards to the Affordable Care Act. Obviously, right now with the pandemic and COVID. And you know, clearly I was bribed into it. And even though I fell into a passion of helping people, clearly it wasn't just like, you know, my end game, right? I had other aspirations and goals. And I quickly realized that the entrepreneurial spirit and blood just couldn't be contained, man.
Yeah.
And so literally after like 5 to 6 years, I found myself literally about to get my master's degree as a family nurse practitioner. More than halfway done with the program. And after the first day of clinicals, I finally just told myself, like, EJ, what are you doing, man? Like, you know, this isn't what you're trying to do for the rest of your life. And I kind of felt like God for me was calling me to serve in a broader spectrum rather than just my community, try to serve people throughout the world. Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that's where it led me to the self-development entrepreneur realm. I started reading books, podcasts. I started networking like crazy. I love, if there's a passion of mine, Eric, it's really meeting new people like you, meeting new people, having conversations. And that's where kind of the podcast was born. That's where I kind of like, I put aside all my hustle mentality and like kind of like the money mentality and was like, hey, what can I do that I think I enjoy? Like, what is it? Right. So I literally wrote it down on a piece of paper. And it was that again, right? People, networking, having conversations. And the podcasting platform, it seems so fascinating to me. I had no idea like what to do. Like even till this day, I still feel like, I don't know how you feel, Eric, but I still feel like all I know about podcasting is like play or record and stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I started the podcast and it blew up. You know, and it's been amazing, man. I've been able to meet some of the most remarkable people that I feel I couldn't have met if it wasn't for podcasting. And you know, it's opened up a lot of doors, doing lots of different things in the entrepreneur space as well. Got into finance. I'm in I co-own a vending machine business. That's a high-tech vending machine business that I think is going to change lots of different things.
Sweet.
I helped develop an entrepreneur community called the Level Up Society. With my good friend Billy Anderson, and just doing lots of different things, man. I know I'm going crazy over here, but I'm just like I just can't sit still, bro. Like my mind is always racing, and when I feel like I could contribute to something, because it's one thing to like, hey, make money if it makes sense. I think we all look at opportunities like, hey, will it make money? Does it make sense? Okay, cool. But for me, it has to be that, but also, hey, can I contribute to this? Right? What can I do with this? And how's it going to serve the world? Right? Does it solve a problem? Does it do a good service for people? And how can I contribute to that? And I feel like because of that, that's where more, you know, the statement seek fulfillment, successful follow really comes into play. So, yeah, man, that's kind of like my story. I know that was like the short version, but
dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's exactly what this show's about, man. Talk about world changers, man. And that's exactly what you're doing, man. That is so rad. Thank you so much for sharing that story, man. I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah.
So are you still involved in nursing or are you full-time entrepreneur now?
Yeah. So the crazy thing is, you know, again, a lot of changes happened in my life with the kid coming and everything. But so I'm a registered nurse manager now. And again, that's been 10 years. I've been in the game, and I'm actually scaling back my hours like crazy. And I'm pretty sure within the next couple of years, I'm going to leave it all behind me. It's been a goal of mine for quite some time. But clearly with the kid coming, I just want to do it strategically. I know there's a lot of people out there just like, hey, just drop it and focus on, and, you know, go for your goals. To me, I like to do things very strategically. It has to make sense. Obviously, with the kid coming and, you know, healthcare and things like that, right? I just got to make sure, you know, you got to reverse. And anytime you do something like that, you have to reverse engineer it, right?
Absolutely.
You know how it is, man. There's a lot of people that have I think I always envy people who've been able to drop what they were doing and go full force with their goals and their dreams, right? For me, little different story, and something that Ed Milet actually reminded me, a great mentor of mine. You know, he said, like, you know, for those who still have that typical 9 to 5 and who are kind of going through this, I like to call spiritual suicide, right? Where they're just like kind of miserable. They're you know, they're not, they feel like they're rotting, right, in their 9 to 5 job. Is that's not, some people would wish to have that. And the reason why is because they have like this career that maybe they're not happy with, but they're able to use that money to fund their business. And some people don't have that. So I always have to remind myself, and for the people listening out there who maybe be in the same situation, right? Maybe you're still in your 9 to 5 and you can't quite just, you know, let it all go yet. You got to remember that, man, there's people who would kill to be in your position because you're making great money still. And you're able to use that money and allocate it and fund your business, right? Or whatever your side hustle is. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I still work a full-time job. I'm blessed to work for a startup company that gives me flexibility to do my podcast in the middle of the day,
Yeah.
and it funds my show, man. Just like you said, man.
Yeah.
You mentioned like you kind of have always been this hustler and always been kind of into that. Like, was there someone that inspired you into that entrepreneur side of things, or what kind of drove you that way?
Yeah, dude, you know what? I think I've just always had it in me.
Yeah,
Again, like I said, I used to love to flip things. I've
yeah,
always found it fascinating to learn, right?
mm,
I like to learn a lot. And I came to a point where my life, Eric, where I like to believe that everything I say I'm going to do, I really do it because I
yeah,
understand how it works in your mind and how it messes with your psyche, right?
yep,
And what I really found was, especially during my career in healthcare, was again, I wasn't very enthusiastic. I wasn't, happy to go to work. I felt like I was just kind of rotting there. Not to say, I like to make this very clear. I still am. I'm a fantastic registered nurse, right? It's just, again, you know what it is. Like if you're doing something like podcasting, this fulfills me, right?
yes,
And
yes,
so, I think what happened, Eric, was eventually I come to realizations like, hey, what are you doing? Right? Why do you keep pursuing the medical field when you know that's not your end game? The second thing is I started to find myself, because again, like once you reach that like dead end of that spiritual suicide, where you're just like, okay, I'm not happy here. What else is out there? Right.
yeah,
You're kind of like trying to figure out what you like, what's your purpose, what's your passion.
yep,
And then because I kept trying new things, I found myself literally doing that, the opposite, where I would say I'm going to do something and I wouldn't end up doing it because I think my mind was just racing everywhere, trying to find a new interest, a new goal, a new passion, or, something to occupy my mind. Right.
yep,
And so what really happened, Eric, I think is really, I just got sick of my own crap. I was
right,
like, dude, EJ, you're telling people you're going to start this, you're going to build this business, you're going to do that. And I quickly found like I kept like running away from it. And
yeah,
so I don't know if that was like the fear of failure or just like, or maybe I was still trying to figure things out. But I came to that realization like, hey, you know what? You have so much ahead of you. I feel like God has purpose for me and I have a clear, direct path of what I want.
yep,
You just got to find that clarity and kind of really define what that is. Right. So what I really did, again, I started joining groups like Arete Syndicate. I
yeah,
started to get into new ecosystems, being like joining a group, and I did not seriously not know anyone.
yeah,
Right. And starting to put myself out there too. I think one of the things a lot of people fall into this pitfall is like they expect things to come to them. Where,
mm,
dude, closed mouths don't get fed, man. You gotta put
yeah,
yourself out there. You gotta market yourself on what you're trying to do. People gotta know who Eric Allen is or Ejay Cruz is, not
yeah,
the other way around, where they're wondering, hey, who's that guy? It's like,
right,
no, let them be curious about you, right?
yeah,
Give them a reason to be curious about you. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
And so, yeah, I think to answer your question, I think I just got sick of my shit. I think I've always had that spirit in me, the entrepreneur spirit.
yep,
But I've always known nursing wasn't my end game.
right,
And eventually I started to fall into different channels that I think I'm aligning with very well, such as podcasting, such as, my two businesses. And yeah, man, it's been a huge blessing, I'd say.
yeah. Well, and talking about your podcast, man, the Parables podcast, it's a great show. Been listening to it, man. You have amazing guests on there. You have awesome content, man. So really congratulations on the success of that. But it just
Thank you.
curious, like, for those who don't know about your show, what's your show about? And, what led you to kind of decide that podcasting was something that you actually wanted to go and do?
Yeah. So, again, when I wrote down those three things that I told myself, okay, EJ, what do you enjoy?
Yeah.
Right. And instead of focusing on the monetary thing, how can I make money and monetize? Why don't you focus on the things you enjoy and then maybe see if there's potential to monetize, right?
Yep.
So I figured that it was podcasting because of those three things, right? Meeting new people, having conversations, right? And networking. Okay.
Yep.
And podcasting platform, I discovered. And, initially what I wanted to do, Eric, was just sit down with people and just talk about them and what's led them to where they are today.
Right.
Right. And I initially started with just people I know. Okay. And then eventually I was like, hey, you know what? Let me change it up. Why don't we start reaching out to people I don't know? Right. Let's bring some other remarkable people on my show. Right.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of crazy how even the name, as you see behind me, kind of came about. It's like I quickly realized, like, hey, what's happening when I'm having these conversations? Oh crap, a story is slowly unfolding, right? And that's what the parables means. Okay, so I eventually started getting guests, all walks of life. Like, of course, like I've had very, very successful people. Then, dude, I like to give a voice to people who I feel who are under-recognized or overlooked, or maybe not so much in the public eye.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I started to meet people that I feel need a voice. And what happened, Eric, like, again, if you have good intentions, man, and you're a good person, people will automatically align with you, and
Yep.
they'll want to introduce you to other people who would be great on your podcast. Right. That's what happened to me.
Yep.
I went from like reaching out to people nonstop to eventually I was getting people introduced to me. And it's such a great feeling, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's how my podcast really came about. Again, it blew up like crazy. Very, very fortunate. I hit top 100 on Apple Podcasts a few times, hit 60 countries. I always like to tell people, bro, I don't know anyone outside of the US and Canada. And I hit 60 countries, man. So it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild, man.
Yeah. Well, and you're also part of Arete Syndicate with Ed Milet, Andy Frisella. I love Ed, man. Huge fan of his. I won his Max Out Challenge last year and was
sweet.
Yeah, I was blessed I'd be able to have a coaching call with him, which we turned into an episode on my show, man. And it's just been an amazing journey. But how has your experience with Arete Syndicate helped your entrepreneurial ventures, man?
Dude, so I will say this. I owe my podcast success to Arete Syndicate. And the reason why is, see, here's the thing when it comes to networking, which is obviously a passion of mine.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you know, it takes courage to put yourself out there and join an ecosystem that's foreign territory to you. It really is, right?
Yep.
So what happened with me, like first, when Arete was first born, dude, tell me, and of course, anytime something like that, it has to be tied to money, right? Because if it's free, you're not gonna take it serious, right? So of course, Arete Syndicate out there, just to anyone who knows, when you join an ecosystem, you're more than likely gonna have to invest some money, right? Because then you have like really serious ties to commitment, right?
Yep.
And so literally, I'm not joking, Eric, like the at midnight was like the cutoff date, right? To join. I literally was like there 5 minutes before midnight, 11:55 p.m. with my credit card info already in there. And I just kept thinking to myself, do I hit submit? Like, man, am I going to commit to this? Like, like that hesitation and that inner, bitch voice that Andy Frisell talks about. Right.
Yeah.
And I just, you know what? I don't know why I was so hesitant, but I finally was like, dude, you know what? Like, it's time to put yourself out there, start to meet new people. I'm already, I love to meet new people in person. Why is this any different? So I finally joined, and I've met some of the most remarkable people in that group, man. I got brothers and sisters that I could call for life, like people who, I consider in my inner circle, people who I would, if something were to happen to me, I know they would take care of my family. And this is basically what happened with the podcast, dude. I told them this is what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
Literally, we were in a meeting in Southern California, the SoCal group, and they were like, EJ, when are you launching that thing? I was like, crap. All right, October. And dude, everyone put it on their calendar to hold me accountable. I came out a month early because I just got so sick of my crap, right?
Yeah.
And so, I've been able to meet some incredible people there. Even till this day, man, I've seen people build their business from the ground up, and it has been absolutely amazing and remarkable to see, man. And Arete Syndicate is just one example and one ecosystem I'm a part of that I encourage everyone to get out of your comfort zone and start meeting not only like-minded people, but people who will hold you accountable and will raise your standards because they want you to win, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These are the type of people you want to surround yourself with.
Man, so good, dude. So good. Yeah. Absolutely, man. And one of the things that I always want to ask is, what's your favorite part about being an entrepreneur?
You know what? I think it's just having the choice.
Yeah.
Right. Making decisions and making the choice, because it all starts with you. Yep. Right. Again, it's just kind of like what's happening with this election. No president is going to change my life. Right. I'm in ultimate control of my life.
Yep.
In my opinion, there's only one true king. Right. And so, again, I think it's that, man. I think it's that you have full accountability of your success, and it's all on you. And I think, if anything, entrepreneurship is probably like the one thing where you really discover the type of person you are. Right. Yeah. Not only in regards to all the adversity, all the hardships you go through, but even in regards to like money. Right. I like to tell people, again, because I'm in finances, right?
Sure.
I like to tell people all the time, you know what money does to you? And it's kind of funny in relation to what's going on in my life. I almost see like finances or money is like a gender reveal. And let me tell you why. Right. When you lose money, you find out who you are.
Yeah.
Right. The real person who you are. When you make money, it's the same exact thing. right? The true person comes out. The real identity comes out. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so that's what I think I love about entrepreneurship. And then of course, like just the people,
Yeah.
right? Entrepreneurship is a big community, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of sharks too, not gonna lie, but there's a lot of more good people for sure.
Yeah.
In my opinion, a lot more good people.
Yeah. I agree. Looking into, if you know, a crystal ball, so to speak, what does 2021 look like for you, man?
Oh man, that is a great question. So here's the thing, Eric. I used to think, and you hear this all the time in self-development, right? I used to think I needed to know exactly what was going to happen or what I want.
Yeah.
Right. Now I have an idea of where I see myself going, no question.
Sure.
Right. There's a lot of things that are coming my way, opportunities that I've been able to be a part of. Right. And I used to really like be that guy that has to write all the things down that I want to accomplish. What are the necessary steps to get there? But what I will say is this: I think life is so crazy, so spontaneous, and especially all this uncertain times, right?
Right.
That the trajectory of my path could change literally from one conversation, one email, maybe one podcast show, right? Maybe one new relationship formed.
Yep.
Right. And so I say that again, I have a vision of where I'm going to be, but I also just bring this up because I feel like a lot of people are just so stuck on like they don't know where they're going to be, and like they feel like they have to know, and it's okay not to know, man, you know. Yep. But to really answer your question, sorry, I want a little side note there, but to really answer your question, Eric, is I see myself definitely accelerating at a faster pace. I think, you know, the past couple of years when I started to get into self-development, it's been like maybe 4-5 years that I really started to tap into this industry. I think within the past 2-3 years is really where I started to really find where I'm headed, right? I mean, like to give you an example, I got into finance out of nowhere. I did not think I was going to get into the financial industry, right?
Yeah.
In fact, that was one of the things I actually did not like, honestly, right? I have to be the guy. I used to be that guy that has to be passionate and really excited about the product or service. Yeah. And what I realized is that's a waste of time if you keep seeking that. You need to harness your skills and your talent, right? Put that into something, and that something may not be your passion or purpose, but I promise you, you drive your skills and talents into that, you will soon find new opportunities where you could really hone in on that thing 110%, right? Yeah. But what I will say is this: I do think there is a possibility I'm going to leave nursing in its entirety. I do think also that both of my businesses are going to scale like probably five times. Right. Nice. The vending machine business and the finance business. Yep. I see myself definitely paying it forward. I think a big part of my mission and my purpose is always paying it forward. Whether that's helping people, giving them an opportunity in themselves, or you know, them joining our little community with Level Up Society. Yeah. And so I kind of see like where my path's headed, and you know, the things I said, but I also kind of feel like I think there's still a lot of unknown territory to discover too. And that's the awesome thing about entrepreneurship, bro. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, man.
My favorite stuff for sure, man, is the unknown, man. And that's what excites me, man. And absolutely, entrepreneurship that's the fun part of it, man. Speaking of fun, I wanted to shift to a couple fun questions. You had mentioned that you love apparel. You love, you know, kind of the fashion side of things. How many pairs of shoes do you own?
I love it, man. You know what? I used to be so into sneakers like crazy, right? Because I used to flip them. Okay. I used to be into that game, and it's a pretty crazy industry, man. There's a lot of money, right? Yeah. Very competitive, very saturated. Totally. I used to own a lot of pairs of shoes, brother. I'm talking like maybe a little close to 100 pairs, man.
Wow. Okay.
But I you know what? Like I said, my drive and my efforts and kind of my goals shifted a little bit. So I literally got rid of like maybe 3/4 of them. Okay. Right. Yeah. Sold them. And then every now and then I may, you know, buy something just a little bit for myself to celebrate a small win. Yep. Totally. So it used to be 100. I would say right now, maybe 20 pairs. Okay. Maybe. 20 pairs. Nice. Yeah. I mean, the old Ejay Cruz, bro, I'll tell you right now, I'd probably have like 200 pairs.
That's awesome, dude. So good, dude. My shoes are like, I'm the same way. I love shoes, man. And I probably have like 10 pairs, but the one thing that I wear every single day because I work from home is I go through like 3 pairs of slippers a year, man. I need to find a very sturdy, slipper company out there that's willing to work with me, sponsor me or something like that, man. Cause I just go through them like nothing, man.
Yeah, dude. Some of my favorite, like slippers are like slides, right? Like I have these like Adidas that are like so comfy. They feel like I'm walking on clouds.
Yeah.
I think they're called Adidas or something like that.
Okay.
What you want to know something crazy though, right? You know what the trendy thing now is like Crocs. And it's crazy because, dude, out of the 10 years I've been a nurse, I've never worn Crocs. Never. And all of a sudden people are wearing it outside of the hospital. It's like, what the hell?
Right.
You know, Post Malone, the Post Malone, the musician or, rapper or whatever, right? This guy has a collaboration with Crocs. I'm like, God damn.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a huge music guy. I know you are too. What's a favorite type of music or favorite band that you have?
Oh man, you know what? I'm a big fan of hip hop and R&B for sure. I like music that puts me in the mood to go crush things, man.
Yeah.
That's just how I am. I mean, every now and then I'll tap into different, genres. Again, hip hop, R&B, rap, reggae, sometimes rock and roll. But right now, man, I got my Spotify list right here. To be honest, I have like this gym playlist, and it goes from like kind of like the 2000 hits to like some of the new stuff.
Yeah.
But man, I again, anything that puts me in the mood. I mean, who I got here? I got some Snoop Dogg. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I got some Bieber on here.
Okay.
I got some Future, some Dom Kennedy. Who else I got here? Just, any music that really puts me in the mood, man. Truthfully.
Right on. Yeah. Very cool, man. Well, hey, Ejay, such an honor to have you on my show, man. You are an absolute world changer. I'm excited for your businesses and your brand new baby, man. And just what you're doing is just killer, man. Keep kicking butt, dude. Thank you so much for coming on my show. Truly honored, man.
Yeah, dude, no problem. And Eric, like I said, man, I know what it's like to be a fellow podcaster. What you're doing is absolutely incredible. I think people don't give you enough credit. Again, I know the work that goes behind it. And again, what this podcast platform is able to do for people and reach people is absolutely amazing. Continue to keep doing what you're doing, brother. And again, we thank you. Really,
awesome.
Really
Thank you so much for watching the show today. I so appreciate it. Please leave a comment down below. Leave us a review. Share this video. We want to get it in front of as many people as we can. I'm going to continue to bring on the best guests possible from world changers, entrepreneurs, success-minded people. We are creating visionaries here on this channel. Thank you so much for checking it out. Have an awesome day.